Hello, everybody. This is Matt with Project 40. Welcome to P40 Live. This is our very first, I don't know what you call it, a webinar, maybe. But I'm here with my wife, Jen. She's doing this technical, fast, typey stuff that I am wretched at. So we're going to get you set up here. If you registered for this event and you're just kind of waiting to see what to do next, if you could just type your name into the comment section so we can see who's with us, that would be helpful so we can know our audience a little bit. While you're doing that, I just want to welcome you to, this is a first time for Project 40, so bear with us a little bit. But if you're not sure, Project 40 is a wilderness mentorship program, and our heart is really to use wilderness trips as a catalyst to spark relationships between teens and mentors. Best mentors, in my opinion, are their parents. But if that can't happen, if parents are just kind of out of the picture, or they're not there for their teen, then we want to help find somebody that can step in and fill an empty space there. So we go on a trip, and that provides an awesome catalyst for a lifelong relationship to be established. Follow-up is huge in our mind. Anyone can go on a trip and have a great time. You can connect with people, but if there's not intentional follow-up for a long period after that, then you eventually forget about the trip. You forget what God did in your heart, and you go back to being regular old you. So we don't want a bunch of regular old yous. We want teens that are seeking the Lord, that are going after God, and then ultimately being plugged into a community of thriving believers who are going after living the biblical way. So that's kind of a nutshell where we're at. And I also just want to give you a brief history. We started in 2009, just really kind of going after this thing. We got our 501c3, kind of did all the legal stuff. I wrote a 40-day devotional book. So that is designed for the mentors to follow along with their student separately. So they each have a copy after the trip. And that is a 40-day book where it just kind of starts out with a very basic salvation message using the book of Genesis. And then after that first 10 days goes into a bunch of tests that characters in the Bible went through, how they not only survived the test, but what fruit of the Spirit was developed in them through that testing. So I have that done and available. I've also been working full-time as a life coach at a children's home nearby here for 11 years. So I have a lot of experience working with teens day to day. I've seen a lot of different issues and learned a lot of creative behavior management skills and just tips and things that hopefully I can be an incredible benefit for parents who just are maybe at a loss, maybe just need someone to talk to. With the wilderness aspect, we've struggled a little bit with the insurance aspect of it. So we kind of just started over. We've been really praying about this, and where do we go from here? Is this insurance block something that is a God thing, saying, hey, slow down, let's regroup, let's figure out where to go from here? I definitely feel like I need to be working with teens. I mean, this is how God wired me. From the very beginning, when I was a teen, I was working with teens. Like, I wanted to hang out with other kids that maybe just weren't connecting with kids in the youth group. So the other aspect of who I am, I love climbing. I love the wilderness. I love being outside. I think it has incredible benefit. Anyone who goes outside can attest that it does something. It does something to you. So we're trying to figure out ways that we can couple all this together. So do we have...
Well, can I give a...
No sign language. I'm not ready for sign language.
Okay.
Just chime in.
All right, here. Wait, bring me back so we can see where we're at. Moving the screen. Okay. I'm coming in for a short little bit here.
This is my wife, Jen.
Hi. Okay, so because this is kind of a new avenue, live streaming is new, but then second, 22 Social is new, being able to live stream through Facebook. So I wanted to give you a run through, and now that you kind of have an idea what Project 40 is about, I wanted to give you some just short housekeeping rules to help make this experience a little bit easier for you. So you'll see the us in the top screen there, but then when you scroll down, there's comments that you can make. So it's right on Facebook, but it's basically private because you can only get to it through putting your email in. So the issue that you'll find, there's a little button that says auto refresh comments. That is automatically checked. That's great because as people are commenting, you're going to see all their stuff coming in. The problem will be when you're typing in a comment, you'll want to uncheck that box first. Because what happens is, as you're typing, somebody else might be typing as well. They push enter, and by doing so, their comment went in and yours disappeared. So just make sure you uncheck that button before you're going to make a comment. And then also, if you're watching us right now by your phone, fantastic. We love having you here. You'll notice, though, that you're only able to do one thing at a time. So you can either watch the video or you can comment. So it's okay to pause. If you want to make a comment, you can do that and then scroll down. You'll be able to comment. It just, you won't be able to see the both at the same time. If you're struggling, then go ahead and get on Wi-Fi instead of your cellular data plan. And then you can basically you can get on your computer if you want to be able to see both the video and the comments at the same time. So that's the 22 Social 101.
I feel
And out
like
I go.
I know exactly what I'm doing.
There, I'm back over.
So can we see, is anyone on? Do we,
Oh, you're not able to see a
I
list.
want to give a shout out, but I asked everyone, go ahead and comment your name in the comment section.
Mm-hmm.
We got a couple. Who do we have? Anybody? Nobody?
Not
it's just
yet.
me. Talking to me, but that's all good. That's all good. So go ahead and get on there. You know who I'm thinking of right now? Paul Neeson.
No, don't even talk about it. He's awesome. But
He is awesome.
But
awesome.
For reasons he probably doesn't even know.
So, well, while we're waiting, I'm going to go ahead and pray for our time together. We're thinking this is going to be about 45 minutes max, maybe 30 minutes. We know your time is valuable, so let's pray and we'll get to doing some brainstorming. So, Yahweh, we love you. We praise you. We thank you so much for this day. Thank you for this time that we have to be able to meet with other people that are in their own homes. And God, I pray that you will give us wisdom, you will give us insight, that you will bring the right people at the right time, and that we can brainstorm together how we can help parents. Lord, help us to identify some key issues and problems with connecting with teens. And Lord, give us just resources through people, through just an incredible network. You are awesome. We trust you. We believe in you. We know that without you and your Holy Spirit, this whole thing is just a big sham. So we just pray these things in your awesome, incredible name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So let's get down to it. Here's kind of what we're hoping, what we expect from the next 30 minutes. We want to generate conversation on the topic of the top 3 reasons, or I'm sorry, the top 3 areas that parents would love support so that they can better connect with their teenager. I'm sure there's lots of different areas. We want to know, what are these areas? Why do these things exist? Why is there a disconnect? Have these disconnects always been there? What can we do to remedy this problem? This is where we really want some insight, where we're really counting on you to join us and comment. So this discussion is in light of the overall mission of Project 40 to create permanent change in teenagers that will result in God-focused living, all right? And that living within a community that's thriving to live according to the Bible in biblical ways. Because if we're there's lots of different communities out there, but we want people to be living according to God's word, because that's what matters. That's what's going to stand the test of time. That's what's going to sustain when everything else just goes. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for your comments, your thoughts. Let's brain dump. So if you are a parent, this is for you. I'd like you to give me some areas that you feel like you lose connection with your teenager. All right. So, at this time, just throw in a comment, give me some insight here. I don't have I don't have any teenagers of my own. I have teenagers at work, but that's a different relationship. So I want to know, as a parent, you've seen your kid grow up. Where does the change happen? When do they start to kind of pull back? And in my own life, I can think of, me and my mom were very close. I started pulling back when I got into about the ninth or 10th grade, just going through, guy issues that I didn't think she'd understand. I connected with my youth pastor at that time, so he kind of became my mentor and someone that I bounced things off of. So it didn't mean I had a bad relationship with my mom, but there was just a little bit of connection lost as I chose to pull away, and I think she really wanted to, stay close, um, and we have a good relationship now. So it was. I think there's just normal, common things that happen. So that's okay, but we really want to address the things that aren't normal, the things that there needs to be a change in the parents and in the teens. They both need to recognize areas that they can do better. All right. So my kids right now, they're only 2.5 years old and 1 years old. So I've got a few years yet before I get to experience this myself. Woohoo!
I have a small question.
Yes.
So if, like, at work, do you notice the difference between the ages of kids when they start disconnecting even with you guys, like the ones that have been there longer?
If they've been there a long time, that's a really good question. I've only had a couple kids who have been there a real long time, and it kind of varies. But you know what? Yeah, I mean, they do get to a place where they disconnect, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's because of personal issues. There's kind of an identity crisis that you go through as a teenager. You want to find your independence. You want to find out who you are away from your parents. In that time, that can be a really difficult time because as a parent, you've instilled certain values in your children that you hope to see will last. And then they start to kind of push against those. They start pushing against boundaries. They kind of want to see, what's beyond this boundary that's always been in front of me. So that can cause a lot of tension, a lot of strife. That's where it's really important to have a really good relationship with your parents, and parents have a really good relationship with your kids, not as a friend, but still as in a parent role, and establishing safe, healthy boundaries so that when they do get to that position where they're starting to push against and trying to, find their own freedom, their own independence, you can still step in. They know that you love them. They know that you're concerned about them. They know that you're not forsaking them because they decided to get a tattoo, or they decided to start changing the music they're listening to, or they're hanging out with these other people. But by all means, you still need to be parent, and you still need to just remember this: you're smarter than they are. Okay, you've lived more life than they have. Every teenager is the smartest person in the world. But just stand firm. Stand firm on what you know is true, and continue to hold your kids to those values. So some other areas that I was kind of brainstorming myself. Maybe it's friends at school, bad influences. Maybe it's just like sports. They get really involved in sports, and so now they're finding their identity in that. Less home stuff, just busyness. I don't know how it is. I don't know what age. I'm kind of curious to do a poll, like what age do kids get their own phones? I won't get on my soapbox, but I'm just thinking, like, as soon as you get one of these, and for someone who's not into the phones that much, I have to catch myself. Like, this is a problem for me. and I think I do pretty good at it, and it's still a problem for me. So I'm just kind of curious what age kids get phones, and if that kind of leads into that pulling away and separation. Lack of common interests, disrespect within the relationship, and this might be due to a lack of understanding from both sides. Unspoken expectations, maybe. So all these things could be reasons why you lose connection, but I know there's more. So have we had anybody
No, and so
comment on that
yeah,
yet?
so I think it's a lot easier for them to watch via their phone, so it's a little bit harder to go
Oh,
back and forth.
okay.
So if they are there, we probably won't be able to see them.
Okay. Can you comment from your phone?
You can, you just, like I mentioned, you can't do both at the same time. You have to pause the video, then scroll down the comments. So,
Okay.
for those that may not be technically savvy, that would be a little bit more difficult.
I feel like we have a non-technical savvy crowd, maybe. It's not a slam on anyone. I would appreciate if you're not technical savvy, because that means you have a life.
Hey, people that are technically savvy have lives too.
They do.
Important ones as well.
Inside four walls with neon lights.
Just stop it.
See how quickly I get on my soapbox? I'm glad Jen's here to keep me in check.
Yeah, those usually are like people that are keeping me alive, like in the hospital setting, or you know, just to say.
That's true. That is true. So we'll go ahead and move on to question number 2. Or
did you want me to put the questions up here so they can maybe screenshot it?
Sure. Yeah, if you can you read it from here?
No, just redo that question and I'll write it down.
Okay. So this was to parents. It's not a question, it's a statement. Give me some areas where you feel like they're right here, Jen. These two, right there. Yeah. You got right, fairly large.
Yep.
And that's backwards.
Okay. No, for them it's not.
Okay. So again, that was, give me some areas where you feel like you lose connection with your teenager. So screenshot these after the broadcast. Please go on. Leave me a paragraph. Leave me whatever you want. That'd be good. I'm going to review all this stuff, and we're just, again, brainstorming. We're taking in all this information. We just want to know what you think. So that was number 1. Number 2, what do you think are some root causes to the connection loss? And I mentioned some of these, maybe the friends things. But for this one, I really wanted to encourage us to, 1, not point fingers. Okay, this isn't about, oh, it's all my teen's fault, and or oh, my teen is perfect. No one's perfect. We're all growing. We all need to continue to ask for God's help and support. We need to continually be in our Bibles to learn how to live according to His Word. So this isn't about pointing fingers or blame shifting, but I do want to encourage us. Let's be honest. Be honest with ourselves. Let's be real with each other, because ministry is not going to happen if we're not real. I know that I haven't arrived. I still have a long way to go, but we need to sharpen each other. So that's what these videos are intended to be, is an opportunity for us to sharpen one another. I hope that we can kind of grow our audience, and as we start to do these on a regular basis, that we'll know each other when we get on here, and we'll be able to comment back and forth. We'll be able to pray for one another. We'll be able to address individual issues that might be happening, and go have prayer support, get feedback from other parents. If this can be an opportunity for parents to connect with other parents who are just having difficulties in a particular area. I just want to be open. I want to help teens. And the best way to help teens is help the parents, because the parents are the front line. You can send your kid with me and I can take them on a trip, but ultimately I'm putting them back in your lap. So this has to be helpful for you parents. Hindsight's 2020, right? We've all heard that before. So if anyone can give us any insight, maybe you've gone through a season of difficulty with your teen, you've come out positive on the other side, and or on the back end you reflect on decisions you could have made that I'm going to start that sentence over. You reflect back on things you could have done different, and you're like, oh, why did I do this? Why did I choose this battle? Or why did I go there? And anytime you're out of an argument, there's always the, oh, I should have said. Oh, sometimes it's like, oh, this would have been a really good jab. Not those comments. I'm thinking like the things where it's like, oh, I really need to surrender at this moment. So if anyone has any comments about that, like from the hindsight perspective, we'd really appreciate that. So number three, in what ways do you seek assistance in creating or maintaining a healthy relationship with your team? All right, so Jen's going to put this on the board here in a second, but what ways do you seek assistance? Do you seek assistance? Or do you think, well, it's not that bad, or I have this on my own? Maybe even between spouses, are you communicating with your spouse on, the tactic you're going to take when you reach a difficult situation, or are you kind of doing it on your own and your spouse is doing it their own way? And now you've got two sets of rules in the same house. Like, inconsistency is not a good thing. So we want to try and be as consistent as possible. So some areas that I thought maybe these are places you go. I'm just curious, if you reach out or not. Do you reach out to your church family, counseling, pastors, maybe professional counseling or therapists? Do you seek advice from your friends? Maybe you have friends with teenagers. Are you asking them questions? Are you open? Do you have people in your life that you are open enough with that you can share struggles that you're having? Not just a surface thing like, oh yeah, my teen, oh, they think they know everything, and then your friend's like, oh yeah, they do, and that's the end of the conversation. I mean, like actually discussing the issue, being open, sharing the areas that you personally are having trouble with, being vulnerable. Ways to seek assistance. Are you joining your teen in their world? Like, are you trying to seek out what they're going through? I guess it's not really seeking assistance. It's more just kind of taking the task on your own. Are you researching online? I mean, is online your resource for tips to implement? Or do you just sit down and eat a bunch of ice cream? Like, what's your method? What do you do? So those were kind of the main 3 points. And again, I just appreciate if you could comment on that stuff. And I'm going to review all the comments. I want to start documenting all this stuff, taking it in. What we're really trying to do with Project 40 is we want to find an area that connects with my heart, that connects with Jen's heart, that we can laser focus in on and really help parents in a particular area. So your feedback is very, very important to us. So I just want to thank you again for your time. There's one more thing that I'd like to do. Yeah, Jen's going to share something here.
Links. I would be interested in them sharing some information through our surveys.
Oh yeah.
The survey. So number one, if they want to give their information to be on the newsletter, and then number two, actually helping with life skills information. Because I think that would be a nice thing
share my
for them to see
website,
there.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then just post it on there.
Yeah.
So let me go ahead and do that. I'm gonna bear with me just for a second here. I need to figure out how exactly to make this happen, because I think that is a great idea. If you go to our website, project40.org, we're gonna pull this guy up. Our website is currently under construction, but Fear not, the information is still valid. So we're going to do this right here. Okay, so this is our current website. Skeleton site, well, under construction, but it still works. So if you go over here to the very top right corner, there are two links. One is this life skills survey. So if you go ahead and click on that, it will take you to this survey right here. We've got 30 to 35 questions, just areas that we're looking for your insight as to how vital are these areas to living. Like in terms of life skills classes, things that kids aren't learning in high school that they really need to know. I mean, do they know how to buy a car, how to manage their money, budget, all this stuff? So if you go ahead and fill that out, click submit, that'll come right to us. We'll get a notice that it's there. The other thing, going back to the website, the 60-second survey, this is super fast, but this is a huge help for Project 40. This kind of gets you into our database. So if the minimum that you need to fill out is your first name, last name, email address. All right, those three things, and then it will submit. I want to encourage you to click this box. I would like to receive Project 40's newsletter and blog posts via email. I send one out every week, and it really is something meant to add value to your life. I share some stories about British Columbia, and then I tie that into kind of a spiritual encouragement. So that's something that they're about 4 minutes long, so it's not a huge chunk of time. But if you get those, it will be a reminder that we exist.
Okay, and I'm going to chime in.
Do it.
I know I'm his wife and all, so I am partial, but I think what I found with how we kind of operate in society today is a lot easier for us to take things in small chunks. And so a 4-minute time period is really awesome to kind of refresh your day and to get kind of that godly perspective that we all can sharpen each other on. So I have found like his videos are fun, they're short, they're impacting, they change the way that I operate in that day. And so if you have teens, this is good for any age from 2 to 99, but really if you have teens in your life and you're thinking like, man, I would love like a short thing that I can just send them that I think they'd enjoy, this is something that you can send their way that I think they would really get an impact from that doesn't come from you, and sometimes that can be really helpful. So anyway, that was just my small little commercial, but I know that you'll enjoy them.
One last thing I want to do here is I'm going to put some questions up on the screen. If you could answer some of these questions, this will help us get a better idea on how we can do this thing better. Was this too late? Is 9 o'clock too late? But also, I know on a Wednesday night when I was talking to a bunch of people, Wednesday is a big church night, so a lot of people aren't home until 9:30, 10 o'clock. They have meetings after services and stuff. So would you be more likely to be available on Tuesday night? So we could definitely change the day that we do this. How likely would you attend if we had sessions bi-weekly to discuss teen and parent issues that would eventually incorporate some training and some tips for struggling parents? And actually, as our first one, I hope that this has given you some tips and some things to think about. So I want to continue to do this on a every other week basis. So how likely would you attend every other week? And then lastly, would you recommend this to somebody that you know who you think could benefit from a session like this? Maybe it's a parent that is struggling with a teen, or someone that's just interested in working with teens, being a mentor. If you think they'd be interested, connect them. Show us. Get them connected to our website, which again is www.project40.org. Which I'm going to put it right down here. All right. Go ahead and post your answers in the comment section. Again, if you're watching a replay, please comment. Feel free to write as much as you want. Remember, keep us in your prayers as we continue to fight for this younger generation. They need our support more than ever before. And again, I mentioned the weekly vlogs. So if you don't want to go to the website, in your comments, just type in vlog me and in all caps, and I will keep an eye out for those, and I will manually add you to our list. So with that, Jen, do you have anything else that you would like to share?
No, I honestly, I mean, I guess the small request I would have is, you know, it's okay to have struggles. And I think it's so easy for us just as humans to try to come across like everything's a little bit shinier and a little bit more put together. But what I love about this sort of forum is we're opening up the lines for communication to just be able to say like, man, I would love help, and then realizing other people are kind of going through the same thing too. Like they would love to bounce some ideas off of each other. There has been times I've been completely lost on what to do with Silas during that the time when Isaiah was born, and man, he was having a hard time. And I just didn't know what to do. But I will tell you, there were some very simple tips that I got because I opened up about the struggle, and it was like night and day. So I think opportunities like this to be open, not only with your knowledge and experience, you know, if you've had teens in your life and maybe they're grown now, you can offer some fantastic advice to people that are looking for ways to interact with their teen better, better ways to connect with them. If there's a particular struggle point for them, I mean, this is just one avenue that we're opening up for parents and for others that would love to give some tips and tricks that have worked for them in the past. So I think no man's an island, and this is our way of bringing some connection in some really busy schedules. As we know, you guys are all so busy. So definitely share this with your friends, your family, and allow them to just really be a part of connecting with the community that's really willing and ready to step in and help them. So that's all I got to say.
That's awesome. Well, again, I just want to thank you for your time tonight. This is going to be very beneficial, and I hope it sparks more interest in seeing real change happen in families in our area. So the only way we can make real change happen is if we get involved. You know, you can't depend on other people to make the changes all the time. Sometimes we have to step out and be a part of it ourselves. So thanks again. I hope that you catch us on replay, and have a great night.